Are you disposable? Hey, Rob Gibson with the Cross Minister Group. I want to say the answer to that question is no, you are not disposable. But what I'm aware of is oftentimes in our human interactions, we treat one another in this recycling world like people are disposable. We can just send them out to the curb. I imagine you felt that in your life at some point in time in a friendship or a relationship, like you've been disposed of. And I want to suggest to us that people are not disposable. But yet, through the course of human history, I think we see where we are a unique species of being, that we dispose of one another. And even as I say that, I'm aware of certain situations, relationships, where I've felt that, or maybe I've done that. And I just want us to come back to a thought. Jesus was not the type of guy who disposed of people. It's interesting, he went to the woman at the well in John chapter 4. And this woman, the Samaritan woman, who all of Israel would have disposed of the Samaritans. There was such a divide, such a rift with the Samaritans. They'd have nothing to do with them. Certainly nothing to do a man with a woman. And certainly nothing to do with a woman who, per the text, seems to have a questionable character and multiple husbands and this sort of thing. And yet Jesus doesn't see her as disposable, but embraces her and shares himself with her, shares water with her, so on and so forth. Same thing with Matthew 16, when Peter, his friend, really crosses him and Jesus says, "Hey, Peter, get behind me, Satan." Pretty strong words. But even that, realizing Peter at this moment is at odds with my purpose, my very reason for existing, Jesus doesn't say, "Okay, because you've crossed that line, Peter, I'm done with you, I dispose of you." He simply gives him a strong corrective and continues to walk with him. Of course, even after Peter denies him 3 times, Jesus still doesn't get rid of Peter. He's like, "Man, I just see you. I see your brokenness. I see your frailty. I see beyond what I'm meeting, and I see the goodness behind that." And as Jesus often was the one to say, "I see what can become of you." So I want to just encourage us. There's such a picture in our Savior that he does not dispose of people or relationships. He tends to sit through hard things and press into hard things with people. Now, the very opposite happened to him, right? If we think about Jesus' crucifixion, he was being disposed of. In Luke 23, this picture of the people that are crucifying him, and Pilate comes out and says, "Hey, we normally release one guy. Who do you want released?" They say, "Release Barabbas." They would rather let go of the love of God and invite into their midst the murderer Barabbas. And Jesus' response to this, okay, this is just so strikes me. Jesus' response to being disposed of in Luke 23, he says, "Father, forgive them, they know not what they're doing." Isn't that amazing? I mean, that just strikes me so strongly that Jesus did not give up on those even who were saying, "We are going to dispose of him unto death." So I just want to encourage us today, it's hard. It's hard to press into difficult relationships. It's hard to stay in there oftentimes. But I want to encourage us. I think the way of our Savior Jesus, the way of the cross, is to do the hard things, do the heavy lifting relationally, right? God is love. Love is expressed in relationship. And oftentimes, as we say in our work, we are wounded in relationship and we are going to be healed in relationship. Or we're wounded in community, we're healed in community. So I just want to encourage you today. Press into doing the hard thing. Don't dispose of people in your life. Don't even dispose of those who at the moment are disposing of you, but forgive them. There's a story behind that, and it's worth pressing in to love and welcoming God into the hard things. Hey, I hope you have a great day. Be blessed.